We want to take you now to the White House, where President Trump is about to sign an executive order reclassifying marijuana to a Schedule III drug, effectively easing federal restrictions. Let's listen.
You're right.
Based on what I hear.
Good
Anybody
afternoon.
else, please.
I'm Nora Volkov. I'm Director, National Institute on Drug Abuse. And for us, that rescheduling opens the door to actually be able to accelerate the rate at which we can do research and discovery. And research is crucial in order for us to, for example, understand what may be and for whom the dangers of cannabis. Yes, cannabis can be addictive. And certainly people, adolescents and children may be the most vulnerable. But we cannot close our eyes to research and the opportunity that we are hearing from patients that for some of them, cannabis can solve their problem. And so what we need to do is do research, number one, to understand what are those conditions. Number two, in order to be able to optimally learn how to use it. And to understand, number three, who is at danger. And it is knowledge that will allow us to optimally take the benefits that may be behind cannabis, as research shows, but on the other hand, also enable us better to do prevention interventions to protect those that are most vulnerable. So thanks very much.
Great job. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. Bobby, do you have something to say?
I'll just echo thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your leadership and vision and finally getting to closure on this issue. This is a question, a scientific question, that has divided our country for many, many years. And there are valid claims on both sides. On one side, patients and physicians attest that cannabinoids and THC can have miraculous effects on chronic pain, on epilepsy, on PTSD, on chemotherapy-induced nausea. My friend Howard Kessler, without whom we wouldn't be here today, drove this change in the schedule. And he did it because of his own experience in mitigating the impacts of chemotherapy. He has nothing to gain from this. He just saw something that worked for him, that worked for thousands of other Americans, and he wants to make it available to them. On the other side, there are valid claims about the negative impacts, about addiction, about psychosis, about adverse public health impacts, and impacts particularly on young people. So we haven't been, the evidence on all of these is anecdotal and it's hypothetical because we have not been able to do scientific studies. There is no standardized dosing. And if you don't have standardized dosing, any study that you do is comparing apples to pears. And we don't know the difference between botanicals and synthetics, and all of these questions we're now going to be able to answer. 5 administrations have promised to act on this issue. The Biden administration promised to do this, and the proposal began during the Biden administration. It got mired down in the chaos and inertia and disorganization of that. And I want to thank President Trump, who made the promise during the 2024 election that he was going to come in and solve this issue, that he was going to take decisive action, and he has kept that promise today. And so thank you, for President Trump, for your vision. And because of that, we will have answers very soon. This will finally allow us to study this issue and to answer these questions for the American people.
Thank you very much, Bobby. Howard Kessler, a friend of mine, one of the most successful people in the country, came to see me on more than one occasion, actually. And he had some real difficulty about 3.5, 4 years ago. And he went through hell. And during his going through hell, he probably sampled everything you can sample when you're going through that, Howard. For sure. And he came to me, he said, there's been nothing like this. And we're going to have to take a good, strong look at it, and that's what he asked me to do. And others have likewise said that, many others. I mean, you know, again, it's, I've never been inundated by so many people as I have about this particular reclassification. And I don't know that you have anything to say, Howard. If you'd like, you could say whatever you
I
like.
just want to help the people 65 and over and make a difference in their lives. And we have machines and talent that could do it, not in 8-year clinical trials, but in a year. And we're going to prove that may change the world, really, in healthcare. So thank you, Mr. President.
And I'm far younger than 65, so this does not pertain to me. Thank you. I don't want it, okay? I'm not going to be taking it, but a lot of people do want it. A lot of people need it, and thank you, Howard, for
I appreciate it.
really opening a lot of eyes. Okay, we'll sign it. We'll take some questions from the press. You can ask the doctors some questions, and it's an honor to do this. That's a good one. We rate that.
We have been watching President Trump speak at the White House. There he is signing an executive order reclassifying marijuana as a Schedule III drug from a Schedule I drug. It's been a Schedule I substance since 1970, the DEA's most stringent classification. It applies to drugs, I'm going to read here, with, quote, no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. Those other Schedule I drugs include heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. Schedule III is used for substances with moderate to low potential for dependence, like Tylenol with codeine and ketamine. And we just heard there for some people speaking with the president there that the goal here is for research and to understand optimally how to use it, and also to incorporate prevention and intervention. We did hear from Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say that this can have miraculous effects on chronic pain, epilepsy, PTSD, and chemotherapy patients to reduce nausea. And right now there is no standardized dosing. Let's go to CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman on this. So, Willie, let's talk more about this executive order. We heard from somebody there saying instead of 8-year-long clinical trials, they'll be able to do this in a year.
Yeah, that's right, Lindsay. The major part of this executive order is to open up a pathway for that research to take place, because, as you mentioned, those Schedule I substances, which are heroin, LSD, ecstasy, marijuana was included in this, and these substances don't really have any medical use. So there isn't much research on the use of cannabis, but the president saying that marijuana can be legitimate, and in large part, some of the individuals there, including HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., saying that this could potentially benefit many people across the board, whether it's seniors or veterans, people who have chronic conditions, people who have to treat pain, people looking to treat things in other ways. So certainly this will be welcome news to those individuals across the country. But what this executive order doesn't do, it doesn't authorize the federal use of recreational marijuana, making recreational marijuana okay in America. It is still illegal at the federal level. The president was quick to point that out, but this certainly does change things in terms of those medical applications, improving pathways for a different type of research to take place. And I will note, as we well know, several states across the country do approve of the medical use of marijuana. So certainly noteworthy that some of these businesses that sell these cannabis products could perhaps benefit from some tax deductions with this change of marijuana being a Schedule III substance down from a Schedule I substance on the federal level, Lindsay.
Important distinction there. Let's talk about the president's primetime address last night. He touted his economic accomplishments as he faces scrutiny over inflation and affordability. Let's play some of his remarks.
Let's look at the facts. Under the Biden administration, car prices rose 22%, and in many states, 30% or more. Gasoline rose 30 to 50%. Hotel rates rose 37%. Airfares rose 31%. Now, under our leadership, they are all coming down and coming down fast.
But polling still shows many Americans disapprove of how the president is handling the economy. How is his speech being received?
Yeah, that's right. And it's important to note that going into this speech, the president really had his work cut out for him because Americans simply aren't feeling that the economy is the way that it should be, that it's going good for them at home. I just want to bring up some numbers for our viewers. If people were asked to look back on 2025, on their own financial situation specifically, 41% of those respondents said they did worse in 2025, 36% saying no change. And in terms of the condition of the U.S. economy, some 32% rated as good, with 63% rating it as bad. And one of the things that people are having to deal with at home is inflation and whether or not their income can keep up with inflation. Some people simply say, no, it's not. If you look at February, July, and now 77, 75, and 76% respectively. So clearly, the people at home aren't really feeling the economy is doing well for them right now, even though the president is saying quite the opposite and defending his message on affordability. And he'll be out on the road tomorrow, Lindsay, in North Carolina, talking about just that.
Willie James Inman, thank you.